In March of 2001, World Championship Wrestling closed its doors for the last time. Today on Wrestling with ADHD's podcast, we are going to discuss why WCW closed its doors. Was it financial? Was it booking? What was it? I'm going to give you my opinion on what WCW could have done in order to continue into the future. That's today on Wrestling with ADHD. What is going on, guys? Thank you so very much for joining me today on my podcast, Pro Wrestling with ADHD, Wrestling with ADHD. The point is I'm discussing wrestling and we have ADHD. As in we, I'm talking about Atlantis and myself, and I'm sure a lot of people out there have the same thing, and hopefully us coming out here, doing the wrestling videos, doing the haunted videos, and soon we're going to be doing some more predator catching and catching online child predators so we can expose them for what they are, and that is trash. So anyways, wanted to welcome you, and I first off want to thank our sponsor for this podcast today, and that is Anita Burrito. It is the food truck. It is in Messina, New York. It is in the very front of the Healthy Way store. And actually, that's Main Street, South Main Street, I believe. Yep, South Main Street, Messina. As I know, while the weather is good, they are open from 10 a.m. until food runs out, which is typically around noon. So, guys, don't sleep on this place. Get there, enjoy it, enjoy what they got. They'll give you breakfast, they'll give you lunch. The owner is super personable guy. Tell him that Shooter in Atlanta sent you. And seriously, check it out. Anita Burrito. It's in Messina, New York. Big food truck. Only food truck that I see around here. But it's definitely worth giving it a shot, guys. All right, so what I'm going to discuss today, as I said at the top of the broadcast, that we're going to discuss the final days of WCW, my opinion on it, where I would have went. Direction-wise, do I believe it was financial that made them go under? Do I believe it was the booking that made them go under? Was it a combination of both? Or was it something completely different? That's something that we're going to discuss here today. So what I want to do is I think I want to discuss first. I'm going to try to stay on track, guys. Remember, this is Wrestling with ADHD for a reason. I do go all over the place, but I'm going to work really hard on trying to stay exactly in the lane that I'm supposed to stay in come this deal, okay? So anyways, sorry, I missed sunglasses from earlier that I obviously don't need anymore since I'm in the studio. Anyways, we're going to talk first and foremost about what I know personally. I don't want to talk about stuff that I'm unaware of. I want to talk about stuff that I've read, that I've heard, that I've talked to talent that were there. Also, people that were there backstage working in World Championship Wrestling at the time. And I guess it's going to start with this number right here that is astronomical and unbelievable and would be a huge, huge gain for a company. But in the same token, it would be a huge, huge decline for the company. A massive explosion of awful. And that number is $67 million. $67 million in the last 1.5 years is what WCW lost. That is a loss. $67 million. And now, of course, there's going to be people who will say, well, obviously, if they just would have cut their talent pool completely down with all these guys that are getting their guaranteed downsides, this, that, the other thing, that, okay, then we're back in the clear. But no, that's not true, because WCW, $67 million. Keep that number in your head. When it comes to talent, downside guarantees, this, that, the other thing, for the entire company would be $20 million. That leaves $47 million still in debt. So what exactly happened? Why were they that far in debt? Well, as me being a wrestler for 19 years, and me also being an event coordinator, me being a promoter to run shows, seeing, the backside of things, the stuff that the fans don't need to see, that kind of stuff, from a financial standpoint, I'm going to go on the assumption that it was a bunch of different things that added up for the financial decline of WCW. Let's take, for example, I was a 15, 16-year-old boy, huge fan of WCW, huge fan of the WWF, huge fan of ECW. I was a pro wrestling fan. Watched Global Wrestling on ESPN, 3 p.m. in the afternoon when I got home from school. There was just so much wrestling, okay? And I always knew from the moment I was a young boy that I wanted to be a professional wrestler. There was no question about it. No ifs, ands, or buts. I was going to be a pro wrestler. And I think it smartened me up around those ages between, 15, 17. I broke in when I was 18. So it honestly, truly, I feel like it was given to me. Something was given to me. It was like this knowledge of certain things that were going on behind the scene. And mind you, there was sometimes internet, but it made like this horrible noise just to log in. Then it would kick you off, and then you were trying to talk on AOL Instant Messenger. Then you were trying to talk on in a chat room. You were doing this, you were doing that. All kinds of stuff was going on, and WWF.com, trying to get all the latest information, but we didn't have that. So I didn't have Simon Miller. I didn't have Andy H. Murray. I didn't have anyone from What Culture. I didn't have Lukewarm, Luke Owens from Wrestle Talk. I didn't have WrestleZone. I didn't have WrestleMania. I didn't have all the stuff that wrestling fans and wrestlers alike have nowadays. And you guys have no idea how lucky you are in some ways. And then in other ways, I think you missed an amazing time. You missed the time when the spoilers didn't get out there. The rumors, the dirt sheets, the results, anything didn't get out there. It was, it was still, in a way, even though it was exposed to be what it was still a kayfabe world in general. And if you don't know what kayfabe is, then good, I'll just continue the story, because that illusion may still work for you. And that, to me, is what it's supposed to be about, is that illusion that, where people believe. Anyways, getting a little off track. Okay, 16, 15, 16, 17-year-old shooter would be watching this stuff. And I remember, the last year of watching Nitro and Thunder, right? And it went from Nitro having a live show every Monday, and then there was a live either a Wednesday or a Thursday, whatever their time slot was at that point, for Thunder, and that was live as well. And then I started seeing a change where it ended up being where Nitro would go live, and then Thunder would be taped immediately following Nitro, and that would air on either Wednesday or Thursday. Also, take a look, for the beginning part of the downfall, which is, I forgot to talk about, but I will obviously bring it up, was the Bash at the Beach 2000, which ended up losing $1 million itself just from that show. And that's supposed to be a big event for, WCW. It's like their SummerSlam, I would say, right? So I started noticing that they would, when Nitro was on, there would be red ropes, and then instead of just twisting it up and taking off the red ropes, throwing those aside, putting the blue ropes up for Thunder, so it at least had its own presentation, they stopped doing that too. And me, like I said, 15, 16, 17-year-old shooter, is sitting there going, I don't know much about this, but this makes me nervous because it looks like they are cutting cost considerably. And when people start cutting cost, obviously there's been a meeting regarding cost being too high, which is never a good sign in any business that you're in. It doesn't have to be professional wrestling. So I just, I started seeing things. David Arquette becomes the heavyweight champion. I'm not going to talk about that. It's beating a dead horse. David Arquette's back in our business now, and he's working his ass off. And I think good for him for the fact that he realized that, that stigma he has, and the stigma gave pro wrestling back, in that final year was terrible. So to see that he's out there and he's working hard and he looks good, he's in wicked shape. Kudos to him. And hell, David Arquette, maybe one day you and I can do it one-on-one. David Arquette, Shooter Storm, I'm down. Just give me a little bit of time to get, post-COVID ready, and I would love to do that. I think that'd be awesome. It'd definitely be cool for me. I don't know what the fuck it's going to do for you, but I would have fun with it, and I know Atlantis would have fun with it, and whatever. So, anyhow, skipping that, I want to talk about the Bash of the Beach 2000, $1 million lost. That was a crazy night. That was an absolutely crazy night in wrestling. I rewatched the pay-per-view just recently on the network, which is very cool that you're able to just get anything you want from the territory days, from ECW, WCW, WWF, pay-per-views, TVs, everything. Except your WCW Saturday night start. Come on, WWE Network. Start doing something right with that. Saturday night, you only have it 92 and 93. There was a lot more WCW Saturday nights than that. I'm running out. I think I'm already watched them all at least once, maybe some of them twice. So I think it's been long enough. You can add a few more years of WCW Saturday night. Anyhow, ADHD. Okay, so Bash at the Beach. The show, I didn't like much of the show until, of course, I got to Mike Awesome and Scott Steiner. And those two tore the house down. They're just rocking each other all over the guardrails, through the crowd, over and out, just insane. And from what I've been told by people, Steiner, I've met Steiner. I've met Steiner many times. Steiner's always been very cool to me. He'd always go out of his way to shake my hand. Nice guy. But I see him in the ring when the lights go on and Big Papa Pump is there, you're going to get all of Big Papa Pump. This dude is an animal. Mike Awesome couldn't have been happy with the characters WCW gave him. He was the fat chick Thrilla, and then he was that 70s guy. And in all honesty, Mike Awesome is just a bad motherfucker that was a badass in Japan. He's a badass in ECW. He jumped ship to WCW from ECW. Mike Awesome was was legit what he said he was. That dude was just throwing people through tables. This guy was insane. I thought Mike Awesome was great. So you put him and Scott Steiner together, what a match that was. That right there made me, when I rewatched the pay-per-view, I said, you know what? I probably would have been a little upset back in the day when I was watching it, which I probably was. At the beginning of the show, it wasn't that great, but then once Steiner and Awesome got in there, everything seemed to come together. Then the Hogan, Jeff Jarrett, Vince Russo deal went down. I think that was a huge downfall in WCW. I do believe that right there had a lot to do with everything else from there going this way. Hogan, Jarrett laid down because there was politics going on in the back. Neither one could agree who was going over. Russo, obviously Jarrett and Russo are close. It's basically the fuck Hogan, fuck the old guys, get out type deal. And I can understand why. But so the screw job finish, it was basically the finger poke of doom, just without a finger poke. He laid down. Hogan got on the mic afterwards. Was it work? Was it shoot? Was it a work shoot? I'm not 100%, but it looked pretty legit because Hogan never came back after that, and he walked out with the belt. Then they had Jarrett versus Booker T to crown the new real WCW heavyweight champion, where Booker T ended up winning it. That built a star. So, really, honestly, a lot bad happened in that year and a half. A lot bad happened even in that 10-month period. However, I feel that, like, Booker T was built to be a huge star. Jarrett had already become a star, whether it was in WWF, WCW. So when he eventually, when WCW closed and he opened up TNA, he's a very smart guy. Jeff is super intelligent, super cool dude. And, like, I'm proud of the stuff that he's accomplished. He's done some good stuff in the business. And, you know, the stuff he's done, no dumb person is going to be able to do what Jeff Jarrett has done, and now he works with the WWE again, and he's a Hall of Famer. This is all done by design. Jarrett is brilliant. Okay, anyways, enough about Jarrett. We're gonna go. Then we had, like, Luger and Bagwell ended up, I'm not 100% sure. They were a tag team, and then they went on and they did a thing with Jindrak and O'Haire, where Jindrak and O'Haire basically squashed them out. This was right toward the very end, 2001. I think it might have been the very last pay-per-view, Greed, where that happened. I can't be 100%. This is just a lot of my memory working from years ago, which my memory from years ago is amazing, but my memory from 33 seconds ago, forget it. Forget it. It's all done and over with. So anyways, I want to kind of break down some things here. At the very end, like I told you, I'm all over the place, guys. This is a real thing. ADHD, you know, I make a joke with you guys about it, because, you know, I find, just because I am all over the place and I see it, it resonates to me on here while I'm doing it on the computer, and it makes me, you know, realize that it's a very serious thing. So people that do suffer from ADHD, we apologize. You know, we feel for you guys. We understand how it is. It's hard. You know, life is what you make it, but mental health is a giant obstacle in the way of, you know, Atlantis and I both suffer from it, and I know a lot of people out there suffer from it as well. But just remember that always be ahead of the game, and make sure that you're always a step ahead of the anxiety or any type of mental health you guys got going on. So just remember that. Okay, so what was going to happen was it was basically put out there that Fusion Media and Eric Bischoff were purchasing WCW when they found out it was up for sale. They were all ready. They had it all set to go. Down in Hawaii was Eric Bischoff, relaxing, excited with his wife, looking forward to, you know, rebranding, restarting, just making it the big boom is what it was going to be of WCW. It was going to be all taped out of Las Vegas, similar to what TNA Impact did for a while, for years at the soundstage in Orlando, Florida. It was going to be similar in Vegas. You know, get your crowd in there, whatever, still air. It was going to be, so, I mean, I feel like Bischoff could have pulled that off, absolutely. Bischoff is great when he doesn't have 40 other people in his ear talking to him, when people don't have creative control, and I feel like Bischoff would have set a good situation out there for guys and giving guys a place to work. From what I've read, I've heard about it on his podcast, 83 Weeks. I've also heard it in Jim Ross's book, how this whole thing went down. TNT pulled the plug. They didn't want wrestling on their network anymore after so many years of being on TNT and TBS. The Turner banner did not want pro wrestling underneath it anymore. I feel like it was a guy named Bill Shaw. I'm not 100% who was in charge at the time. I don't think Ted had anything to do with it, because I know he always loved wrestling being on his network. So at that point, that was it. That Fusion Eric Bischoff deal did not work out because they had no cable channel to put it out on. What is a company worth if you do not have if you do not have a cable station to put your product on for the world to see, right? So at that point, Vince and the World Wrestling Federation at the time, they swooped in. I don't know what it sold for. I'm unaware. I heard something like $2.5 million, and they got everything. All Vince wanted really was the library. He did want to go ahead and have a separate brand of WCW, kind of like Raw and SmackDown separated, but it was going to be WWF and WCW. Shane was going to lead the WCW guys. Vince would lead the WWF guys. They'd have their own touring schedule, the whole deal. And according to JR's book, and according to quite a few people that I spoke with, Vince just decided to scrap that whole situation and not let it go down. It's kind of sad because it would have been something that it would have been great to see. I think that would have been entertaining. I would have loved to see what they could have done with that, because even though WCW didn't have a lot of their top players at the end because they were sitting out their AOL Time Warner contracts, there was a lot of young, hungry talent out there. You know, Billy Kidman, Sugar Shane Helms. There was, you know, I think all of 3 Count were brought in. Yeah, Shannon Moore. They had Jindrak, O'Hare, Bagwell at first, Booker T, the whole shish kebab. They had a lot of good talent and a lot of notable faces that people would recognize, and they ended up going that whole different direction. They did the Invasion pay-per-view, which I actually attended with some buddies in Cleveland, Ohio at the Gund Arena, and Austin doing the heel thing at the end. It was cool. I felt, though, that anything Austin did was great. Anyways, that was just my mindset. I was young, you know, I was, what, 19, 20 at this point. And then, you know, so Austin doing the heel, I think everything turned out to be very convoluted. A lot of it's kind of like when I talk, it becomes very convoluted. But anyways, I feel at this point, now looking back 20 years ago, I think, wow, what a deal that would have been if they would have had their own touring schedule with their whole deal. I think it could have been a cool thing. I think it would have been a cool little, I think Vince should have given it a chance. And maybe that was the fan in me of being a huge fan of not only the WWF, but WCW and ECW and that whole thing. A lot of the ECW guys probably would have went touring with the WCW guys. You know, I just think that would have been a different and cool scenario. But obviously, it didn't happen that way, and WCW is now in the past. And I can't believe that I lived through the Monday Night Wars every week. And now, 20 years later, I'm living through the Wednesday Night Wars. And it's still USA versus TNT. Like, that to me is just an insane thing when you stop and think about it. But I think the difference now is we have a hungry group of guys and girls, a hungry booking committee, a hungry bunch of people that just eat up and love professional wrestling. And that's the difference going to go on here. And we have a network that sees what the passion and the excitement and the heart of these guys and gals out there. And I look at it and I say, wow, you know, when you have a team like that, a team of, you know, when you bring in the players and you got the network to put it out there and they have a great relationship, nothing but good things coming forward. And I believe that going forward, we're going to see pro wrestling, All Elite Wrestling, and TNT. I mean, the sky's the limit. Really is. Sky is the limit. So let's just rewind just a little bit. I want to kind of go over what I would have done in regards to the booking of WCW. If me as a 38-year-old man with lots of experience in this business and a guy who understands and has been booking, he's been obviously wrestled for years, refereed, you name it, I've done it. I wear a lot of hats. And if I were looking at this, if I was 38 years old in the year 2000 and I came in and I said, give me the pencil, give me the book, let me write down what we're going to do here, I will tell you what I would do. In fact, we're 2000. We want to say 2000. We're going to say I come in beginning of 98. I'm not going to give every booking detail that I have, but I'm going to give you a concept, a general concept of where I think that they could have went from the very end of 97 all the way through, and I would have worked so hard and diligently to make sure that these guys continued that rise that I talked about at the top of the program. Okay, so here it is, 1997, November, right? Huge, notorious month for professional wrestling. The Hitman Bret Hart is screwed in Montreal by Vince McMahon. The evil Empire owner is now screwed over Bret Hart. This is not a storyline. This is real life. Bret Hart, the top babyface for the years leading up, and the top heel without a doubt throughout 97 with his Hart Foundation faction. So here we go. We have Bret Hart. He gets screwed by McMahon, Montreal. Everybody knows about that. If you don't, go to YouTube, type in Screwjob Montreal. Montreal Screwjob, Bret Hart Screwjob, Shawn Michaels Screwjob, Vince McMahon Screwjob, whatever you want, check it out and watch it because there's a million things online about it. Check out what happened. So now Bret is a free agent, right? Now, whether Vince helped negotiate a deal with WCW, that's something that I'm never going to know, but I do truly believe he probably did because he felt like he was obligated to Bret because he couldn't honor his 20-year contract. He wanted to help him get the most money he could get in WCW. So, there it is. Either way, the whole deal happens. They needed to get the belt off of Bret. I believe they needed to get the belt off of Bret in one way or another. I'm a huge Bret Hart fan, huge Shawn Michaels fan. Now looking back, now being a 38-year-old man, looking back to 1997, 14, 15-year-old kid, I look at it and I say, okay, if I'm Vince McMahon and 1 year prior, year and a half, well, about a year prior, your women's champion showed up on WCW programming, dropped her WWF prestigious women's title in the garbage at the beginning of Nitro. That automatically just completely shits all over that belt. The day after Montreal, Raw was in Ottawa, and that's where Bret wanted to come in, hand the title over. Okay, that's great and fine and perfect. However, Bret was under contract to WCW as of that Monday. So all Bischoff had to do, and Bischoff would have done it because Bischoff was a dick when it came to business. Like, he played dirty. He was the dirtiest player in the game backstage. Dude was insane, and he would do anything to try to kill the McMahon dynasty. So he would have had Bret come over and said, you have to come. You're obligated to throw the WWF title into a WCW garbage. What the hell would that have done to the WWF going forward? That would never be forgotten. Just like David Arquette winning the heavyweight title on WCW, never forgotten, and not for a good reason. Okay, so here we go. So Bret Hart, now that we got the Screwjob thing out of the way, he is now a free agent for a few minutes, and that free agent signs with WCW for $2.5 million a year on a 3-year deal. It's close to $9 million for those of you that aren't, don't know exactly. That's almost $9 million. So take a look at this. Bret Hart, no doubt, was the #1 babyface in professional wrestling for years. I'd say 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96. Bret Hart was the wholesome guy, the good guy, the baby face, the guy that, you wanted your kids to look up to. And then in 97, it flipped in the United States, where he absolutely was the heel. He talked about how crappy the United States was, how crappy our healthcare, this, that, the other thing. But yet Canada and every other country around the world, Bret was still a hero. Bret was a hero, and deep down people in the United States probably still wanted to cheer Bret Hart because they knew he was still Bret Hart. So he goes, now he's gone. He signs his contract with WCW. So he's allowed to show up on Nitro the night after. Did they do it? No. No, they didn't. Bischoff came out with the NWO. They did some inside puns about punching and that's a knockout thing and stuff that's WCW that happened on WWF. But if you didn't know, because there was not really much of an internet, and you didn't know what on backstage, that's funny as hell for the boys and the girls. But how is that funny to the fans when they don't know what the hell's going on? Now, would it have made a much bigger impact if Monday Bret Hart showed up on Nitro right after that screw job at the Survivor Series, hell yeah, that would have been super, super impactful. Because that right there, there's your hot 2-second long free agent that's now in there, and now he's on WCW TV. You have Starrcade coming up the month later. You've already built up Sting versus Hogan. Okay, perfect. Have that match. And have Bret not as a special enforcer referee. What kind of stupid shit is that? No, you just have Bret there sitting either in the commentary booth ringside like he would do in a Shawn versus Taker or Shawn versus Diesel type match. You'd have him there doing play-by-play with Schiavone and Heenan. Granted, I know that I can't remember if that Starrcade had the gimmick table down by the ring or if it was up top. Either way, they could have made it different for that night. Or they could have had Bret sitting front row. You know what I mean? And once the title switched over, Sting went over for the belt. I think at that point, we could have easily had Bret come in the ring. Or we could have even put Hogan. I would have put Sting over. Absolutely would have put Sting over. That was such a long build. That was a very well-built program between Sting and Hogan. So, yeah, Sting goes over, right? And then it sets up for down the road, babyface, Bret versus Sting. Sting wanted to take some more time or whatever. After that's fine. Bret goes over and becomes the WCW champion. Or, not even. Or we don't even go that route. This is my second option. Bret just looks at Sting and says, congratulations, shakes it and tells him one day he's going to be there, right? Simple and easy. I think Bret should have been booked as a top babyface in WCW. WWF already booked the story for you. Maybe they didn't know it, but obviously they didn't know for a while because they created the Mr. McMahon character out of what happened in Montreal, making him the shitty, money-grubbing piece of shit boss that everybody wants to kick the hell out of. And, then you have your Austin who does that kind of thing. That was built. Austin McMahon was built off of Bret Hart being screwed. So, WCW, all you have to do, have Bret get his sympathy. He can go and talk about how he was screwed and, he's not going to do to the fans around the world, even here in the United States, what I did, or what, that guy did to me, bibbidi-bobbidi-boo. Simple, easy booking. Bret gets starting to get pushed. Have a heel faction. I don't want it to be the NWO. I think first thing I would do, beginning of 99, I'd cut that roster down a lot. Pay guys what they're owed, cut it off, and then just start building from there financially. I believe you have to cut a lot of guys. WCW had like 9 million people under contract at one point. I mean, it was insane. And not taking anything away from any of those guys. Good, you made a ton of money in the business. You got to be out there in front of people. I think 98, not 99. 98 should have been the start over. The Sting-Hogan thing was done. It was a great build. It went all the way. Sting beat Hogan. Let Hogan take a back seat for a while. Do some kind of a thing even where it's Bret is, even starts in the middle area there in the United States title division. Has some great matches with Mr. Perfect. Kurt Hennig. Kurt Hennig could bring in his group of guys, pending injury, like Ravishing Rick Rude and another guy. Then on Bret's side, Bret has himself, and he's got Bulldog, and he's got Anvil, who've already went over there with him, right? And then all of a sudden, they get a fourth guy on the side. They get a fourth guy on the Mr. Perfect and Rick Rude side, okay? So just take a couple awesome, talented guys that you could put there, Arn Anderson and whoever else. We have those guys. Some awesome stuff. You can do interchangeable 6-man tags. You can have regular tags. You can have single matches. You can have all kinds of different stuff that's not too convoluted, where the people can understand that the Hart Foundation are the baby faces and the heels are Mr. Perfect and his group. So I would also go this direction. if I was, trying to, play hardball with the WWF because you did it for so long, why is it failing now? I would seriously make a huge bid. I would have tried to make a huge bid for Owen Hart. I know Vince didn't want Owen leaving. He let the rest of the Hart Foundation go, but he needed to keep Owen. Did he do that to be a dick? Well, if he did, he was the ultimate dick. I would have actually went for Owen. If we could get Owen in WCW, obviously he would have joined Bret in the Hart Foundation. The whole deal would have happened. It would have been, they would have done 4-on-4, more interchangeable matches, 8-man tag matches, 6-man tag matches, 1-on-1 fucking tag team matches, whatever you have you. Okay, so that would have been good. This could build all the way through. Say champion is, I'm sorry. I had Mr. Perfect as the leader. Mr. Perfect would definitely be second in command, but Scott Steiner was going to be the guy that was the heel. That's what I would have had. Steiner as the absolute top heel. Bret as the absolute top baby face. 4-on-4 matches, like I said, small factions, nothing like NWO where people in the crowd join the NWO. In the backstage area, the janitor was now part of the NWO. Not that kind of thing. I wanted like old school, like the Horsemen and Dusty and the Road Warriors and all these dudes. So again, guys, I do apologize heavily. Those that do watch this that do have attention deficit hyperactive disorder, you understand why I start going all over the place, and from my heart, I really am sorry. I try to condense things and bring stuff down, but then I end up just keep going. But I promise, guys, I'm going to work hard on just being a little bit better when it comes to that. And I honestly, truly do have a lot of great ideas and things that I would have done, and I want to explain that in this video. And if you stuck along so far, probably got another 10 minutes. If you guys have stuck with me, it means the world to me. Please make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to this, and go ahead and hit the bell on the top to have your notifications on when new videos of either wrestling, hauntings, or predator catching is uploaded to our channel. I know we're going to be starting a new channel as well, and that's going to be the Storm Family channel. That right there is going to be stuff that Atlantis and myself with our family do, and just like everyday stuff that doesn't really have much to do with, wrestling or paranormal or catching child predators or anything like that. It's just something like kind of like a feel-good channel. So we're probably going to be starting that shortly. But, we're really trying to build our following up. It's really easy to hit the like button, and it's really easy to hit subscribe. I'm trying to give you guys free entertainment during this COVID time. We're both trying our asses off to make sure we give you entertainment. She's great at the haunting stuff. She's great at the editing stuff. Big kudos to her for the beginning there, our new little intro package. She put that together. She's very smart. She learns things very, very quickly when it comes to computer stuff. I do know how to go on Facebook and Twitter. That's pretty much what I'm good at. So she leaves that for me, and then she does the other stuff. So that's just a big shout out. And please, guys, smash that like button and share, subscribe. Just try to help out. Before I finish this off, I will say that we are a self-funded channel. This is not something that you need to do, but if you feel you'd like to support the channel, you can do so through patreon.com/togetherwithadhd. You can do so for as low as $5 per month. There's different perks for, different tiers. Take a look at it and see what you guys can do, if anything. And if you can, I greatly appreciate it. If not, all you got to do is hit the like button because that's free. Okay, so to end it off, this is what I would have done to at least conclude 98 and to 99. And we would have stayed on this same route going forward. Obviously, I might tweak some stuff here and there. And I would have 100%... it would have came down to where Steiner was the champion that whole 6-8 months, right? So we get to like Fall Brawl, and Bret finally becomes the champion. He finally wins the championship, and so they come out to do like a congratulations the next night on Nitro or whatnot, and it goes on. And so this is the very end of the show. They do a congratulations. That's when Owen will turn the ultimate heel, turn on his brother. Here we go. This is, I know Warrior and Hogan tried to emulate the magic they did at WrestleMania 6, like 8 years later, and it didn't work. However, with Owen and Bret, I believe it would have worked. It's They're two hearts. They're amazing, and they were still at the top of their game. They would have just been performing on a different canvas and a different arena and a different setting under 3 different letters. And I feel like we could have built from Fall Brawl, the night after Fall Brawl, post-show Nitro, we could have started the build between Brett and Owen that we could culminate the final thing at the Starrcade 1998. We'd have Brett and Owen, and I think that would be the time Owen would take the strap. People would be in shock. Then we can go ahead and they will go into 99, and they'll be able to exchange the title back and forth. Also, Scott Steiner would be involved because Scott Steiner would get a rematch. I believe, I think I would do it this way now that it's coming to me. Sorry, guys. I think, okay, Fall Brawl, Brett finally becomes the champion. Go into Halloween Havoc. Halloween Havoc, Steiner gets his rematch. So Brett ends up winning, but then Owen lays him out. That sets up through Starrcade. Finally, Owen either beats Brett or Brett continues with the title. Then they go into the year 1999 where they're going to switch the title back and forth just a couple times. And I'm saying bottom line here, you had a built-in storyline with Bret Hart being that a 2-second free agent that jumped over. You're paying him $2.5 million a year. Use him. Make him your guy. Build your company around the Hitman, because I would have done that. I feel like WCW put its own foot in its mouth because it screwed up 100%, messed up the direction. Vince sent you. He absolutely sent you the biggest star at that point, and you somehow mismanaged Bret Hart. Do I blame Eric Bischoff? No. Eric Bischoff gave us captivating television for a couple of years. Did he do stupid shit? Absolutely. Did he do underhanded shit? Absolutely. Is Eric Bischoff the reason that WCW died? No. I think, to be honest with you, Bischoff would have been the one savior to keep WCW alive. I think back when the NWO and stuff was going along, he might have, pissed some of the wrong people off later on, and it came back to bite him in the ass. But that's neither here nor there. A lot of people say Vince Russo was sent by Vince McMahon to World Championship Wrestling to kill it from the inside. There was a time where I believed that. There was a time where I thought, yeah, maybe he did. That's how bad the product was when Russo was in charge. Then I'm in Orlando for, I lived there for years. So whether I did stuff and helped out and was an extra at TNA, or I was just a fan going there to enjoy pro wrestling and to eat up the business and to, learn everything I could to try to get a job there, what have you, I saw Vince Russo destroy that company with his convoluted booking, his reverse battle royals, his somehow, some way, some kind of a casket, backwards, upside down, convoluted bullshit match. So I looked at that and I said, no, I don't think Vince sent Russo there to kill it. I think Russo just needed Vince McMahon as a filter because he'd throw out 70 ideas, 69 of those ideas were crap, one of them were good, and he gets the credit for that. But nobody knows about the other 69 pieces of shit he threw at the wall. So I believe, with all my heart, I believe that Russo was not sent by Vince McMahon. He was not sent to kill WCW from the inside. I think Bischoff just got I think Russo just got way too much credit for stuff that wasn't all him. And all that 69 piles of shit he threw out the wall, he started using those in WCW because he had them in his back pocket. And that's what happened there. Do I think Russo killed WCW? No, I don't. I do not think, just like I don't think Eric Bischoff killed WCW, I don't think Russo did. Do I think Russo was the worst of the two? By far. Absolutely, by far. what I talked about it a little bit earlier. I'm going to finish with this right now as well. What killed WCW? What was it? Finances? Yes. We don't know exactly what the costs were for house shows that were low-attended house shows. I believe they stopped doing house shows for the end because at that point, after the big boom in wrestling, it became a financial disaster. Do I feel like Vince Russo killed WCW? Nope. Russo, Bischoff, not at all. Higher ups? Yes. WCW as a whole, when it comes to a business? Yeah. And the reason it is because if they would have cared enough for their business, okay, if they cared enough for their business, then TNT and the Turner umbrella would have cared enough for WCW, right? Why would you take this company that had the money, the potential, the talent, the stars, and take it all for granted and put out embarrassing television that no fan, especially loyal fans of this product for how many years, and then they put this garbage out there? Do I think that's okay? No. Do I think TNT thought it was okay? No. So they decided that they wanted to wash their hands of it, and there wasn't anybody that was able to change their mind because, unfortunately, WCW was too far gone. So now, all we have left is the memories from the Monday Night Wars. And if you're now living through the Wednesday Night Wars, if you're now living through USA Network versus TNT Network with pro wrestling once again, you are very blessed, just like we are very blessed, because say you didn't see 20 years ago, that's okay, because there was sadness, there was heartbreak, it was a bad time. You fast forward now 20 years, you got your Tony Schiavone, who was incredible. You have JR with him. Excalibur's coming very far. I think he's a really good announcer. Taz, of course, incredible. You have Tony Khan, who cares about his wrestlers. He knows how to write long-term storylines. You have guys, Cody Rhodes, who absolutely is killing it every time. He is wrestling's golden boy, without a doubt. Brandy's coming up. She's done a complete 360. And overall, the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, of course, Chris Jericho is just... they did the absolute right thing by him becoming the World Heavyweight Champion to start. He brought eyes to the product, and these guys are delivering. They've been in business 1 year. They had their 1 year anniversary 2 nights ago. 1 year on TNT, and everything that they have promised since the beginning, they have delivered on. And that's something that 20 years ago, they could not and would not say, because it would be a blatant lie. So, to end this, I'm going to end it on this note. WCW as a whole killed WCW as a whole because the company of World Championship Wrestling didn't give a shit about their product. So why would a network give a shit about their product? Guys, this has been Shooter Storm. This has been Wrestling with ADHD. This is on the Headlocks and Hauntings YouTube channel. All we ask is you like, you share, and subscribe. And help us build this channel. Help us get the eyes on this product, because the two of us are working very, very hard just to bring out some content for you guys to enjoy, to watch, you know, to maybe share with people, let them know we're giving out this content. We're going to have a new haunted video very shortly. We have a spirit box session we have to do tonight at a local hotel where there's been, in the last couple weeks, screams heard from the stairwell area going from one floor to the next, to the next. So we're gonna try to get that spirit box going, and we're gonna try to get some communication, which will be taped, and we will shoot it up here onto the YouTube channel. And again, guys, we appreciate all your support. Hope you enjoyed my take on the ending days of WCW. And until next time, guys, make sure to follow your dreams.